welcome to the first installment of Football Talk presented by Fuxion TV. I'm Nikki Kadua, he's Rozola Roberts, and he's Samson Nsema.
Hey, how are you?
You know, today is June 12th, a big day for world football. It's the opening of the World Cup. When we come back, we'll be discussing the groups, who will win the groups, and also the key players to watch in each group. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, welcome back to Football Talk, and here we are back to talk about the groups A through H.
Well, we look at the groups, and we have 8 groups, 4 teams in each group. 2 teams will advance to the round of 16. Who do you think it will be from Group A?
From Group A, we have Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, and Cameroon. This is basically the second hardest group out of all of them, I would say, personally.
Yeah, following the group of death. Definitely.
Yes, yeah. I would say that Brazil and Cameroon get out. I think it's because of the players that you have in Brazil, the quality, the Brazilian type of play, the speak to the other 3 teams. Cameroon.
I would have to disagree with that. I don't see Cameroon making it out the group. They have a good team, good players, but I see that Croatia is just a stronger team and has the quality to make it out.
Yeah, of course, but players like Eto'o, players like Nkulu, solid defensive player from Nkulu.
Well, Eto'o has not had a good season.
But for his country, he plays fantastic. So from there we can.
But if you look at the group, you have with Croatia, you have a player like you have the counter-attacking football first of all. Then you have players like Ivan Rakitic, Luka Modric, Mario Mandzukic.
You even
all
have
players
a
that can
little
get
bit from
goals.
Barcelona who just signed the youngster.
But overall, I believe that Mexico should be ruled out. I don't think they.
Yeah, Mexico definitely last place in that group.
Of course, yeah. Maybe not even last place. Maybe they could finish over one of the teams. It depends how they play in the match.
But they
but
just
overall,
I
do not think they'll make it out. Mexico, we can just rule them out. They have players like Chicharito who won't even be starting in the first match. I really don't know where their squad is right now, and I really do not think that.
All right,
we have
move on to Group B.
Brazil winning the group, and it's a bit of a toss-up between Croatia and Mexico.
Yeah.
But on Wednesday, the
Croatia
18th,
and Cameroon overall, and I believe that the key match will be when Cameroon and Croatia play on Wednesday
at 11.
On 11. Okay.
So catch that.
So that'll be the big match. That'll be the big
All right,
match.
let's move on to Group B now.
So we look at Group B, and this is arguably one of the harder groups. We have the top tier teams in the world. We have Spain, Netherlands, Chile, and then the lowly team, Australia. A bit of a, I guess you could say, a shock conclusion from the Oceanic region.
Yeah.
But they have players that can, on their day, upset the likes of Spain and Chile.
It all depends. But for this group, I see what we have coming out of this group is the Dutch and the Spanish.
Definitely. I mean, with Spain, you have the tiki-taka football.
Yeah,
I feel that Chile can fight for that.
They could definitely surprise.
Yeah, of course.
I don't see Netherlands making it out.
I don't see it either.
Because they just don't have the quality they had 4 years ago in this tournament.
Definitely.
Yes, they have Robin, Memphis Depay, Van Persie, but I don't think those players will be able to counterattack the Chile team.
The Dutch are known for having strong squads. They obviously have a strong one here. Honestly, if there's no upset between the Chile and the Dutch squad, I believe that the Dutch and the Spanish will go through with no question. Australia, they have a weak squad. They don't have too many show-out players. I think their best player is Rogic, right? Tim Cahill's out there, so
Cahill,
I don't know. We'll see, but most likely.
But you look at Cahill, and he's coming off a terrible spell of form. One goal in the last 7 games with only 4 shots.
And also inside of a week league like the MLS.
Yes.
I like the MLS, but their competition is not as good. Their star player Tim Cahill's playing in that league, and honestly, I don't see them coming out the group. No surprises for me.
But this group as well, it's a bit of a toss-up like Group A because you have between Netherlands and Chile, you have some very close.
Yeah. So I think that for the second spot, the fight will be between the Chileans and the Dutch, and we'll see from there.
Yeah.
When's this match?
We'll be seeing Spain versus Chile on Wednesday the 18th.
Okay.
And then we'll also have Netherlands versus Chile the next day, well, the next round of matches. So that'll be interesting. So we'll tell you that one.
So that'll be the big match to watch, the
Those
final
2,
game.
yeah.
And what day is that? You said again.
But really, at the end of the day, it's the tiki-taka of Spain versus the Dutch football versus the Chilean counterattack with players like Alexis Sanchez. Yeah. So it's always going to be a tough group.
Yeah, Spain will definitely make it out on top.
Yeah.
And then Netherlands and Chile will fight. But just like in the Euros not too long ago, Netherlands actually came last in their group, and hopefully, for their sake, that won't happen again.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Then we have Group C, every group at the World Cup is difficult. It's one of the top competitions in the world, and that's why it's such a big event. But with Group C, we have the likes of Ecuador, Greece, Ivory Coast, and Japan.
It's actually Colombia, not Ecuador.
My apologies.
But we'll start with I say that the best team in the group would have to be Ivory Coast.
Well, I mean, if you look at the best team, you look at Japan and the players they have, Shinji Kagawa's.
Honestly,
Like,
to be honest, this Japanese squad has not shown up pretty well inside of their friendlies. First of all,
They have the
leading up
players,
to
but
World Cup.
they just don't have the team.
Honestly, it all depends on how they come out to play. Because I honestly I don't know what to expect from this Japanese squad.
Very true, but with Brazil, we have the weather as a big factor. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to see how teams adapt
Again,
to that.
Colombia-
You look at a team like Greece. You look at a team like Japan. Their climate is very different, so it's going to be a bit of an adjusting period once they get to Brazil.
So at the end of it, I personally think that the Ivorians and the Colombians will come out. The factor of them playing in their home continent for the Colombians will basically see them finish first.
True, and then such a
them being
strong
in their home
qualifying round for
continent,
them.
they'll have their people together, and then they'll be in their kind of climate that they're used to playing in, what's high altitude and all
Yeah,
that.
high altitude, humid weather.
Yeah, so they'll be used to it, and I think they'll play fantastically well. They have key players like Jackson Martinez that comes from Porto, and they have James Rodriguez that comes from Monaco, who's had a fantastic season in France. So again, I expect the Colombians to finish first, the Ivorians to finish second. Key matches, I think the very key match here will be Ivory Coast versus Japan for who finished seconds, because the Japanese they have a good squad, and we'll see how they fare out when they play the Ivorians.
How do you feel Jackson Martinez's mentality will be affected going into the World Cup, especially with all the rumors of transfers to Arsenal and other top teams?
I don't think it'll phase him.
because
Last season it's been with him. Last season he was linked to
speculation.
moving out.
It's all speculation,
Yeah.
and him having a good season with Porto will come in.
Yeah.
I feel that he can fill in the shoes of Falcao and take his team.
Yeah.
His team into the World Cup.
Yeah, the factor of them missing Falcao will be a massive disappointment to them. But again, Colombia is a quality squad. Just missing out on Falcao, they have players to replace him like Martinez, as we said multiple times today. Honestly, overall they'll finish first, no problems.
All right, let's go on to
The
the next
Greeks,
group.
they have a good defense, but they won't do too
Go
well.
on to the next group.
All right, next group we have is Group D, which features Uruguay, Costa Rica, England, and the Italians. Overall, I believe that, like what I personally believe from this group, I believe that the English and the Italians will get out this group.
So you're just writing off Uruguay. You don't think Uruguay will?
I mean, they have a player like Luis Suarez, arguably the top striker in Europe this season,
Alongside
ahead of the
Cavani.
likes of Cristiano and Messi. I mean, the numbers don't lie. You could check the
it's very
scoreboard. You
simple.
could check anything. You look at Luis Suarez, and he's been at a pinnacle in his career this year.
Yes, he's one of the key players alongside of Cavani, who's another top
yeah,
striker
he's had a
over at
very-
PSG in France.
Very good
Solid
debut season with PSG.
But overall, I think the surprise team will be the English, and they will find their way through.
I don't see the English being able to write off Italy in their first game.
I mean, it's a bit of a New England. It's the first time England goes into a campaign without the ideas of the golden generation of the likes of Rio Ferdinand and David Beckham's. They've all retired from international football. So it's a new, young look England squad. And we'll see what they can do once they get to the biggest stage in football.
And also, I don't think we can write off the Costa Ricans. They finished first in qualifying, if I'm not wrong, in the CONCACAF qualifying. They have good players like Joel Campbell coming out of Olympiacos. I think some of us saw him in Champions League. Yeah, for Arsenal. They saw him in Champions League. Scored against Manchester United. They have Brian Ruiz, who's currently playing at PSV, correct?
Yes, but he didn't really have that good of a season for the past couple seasons.
He came from,
I mean, but if you look at a player like Ruiz, he doesn't need a consistency. He's a player that can flick a switch and he goes from piss poor to top form in one match.
They're surprised. Honestly, we don't know what to see from them, but again, they are a good squad, and we can expect much from them. To be honest, we don't know what we'll see, but we can expect much.
They could truly have a Cinderella.
And from the Italians, we have star players like Balotelli, Pirlo, and the top scorer in the Serie A, Immobile. I think that they'll be.
Who do you think will start, Balotelli or Immobile in the
I think Balotelli will start. They like
I mean,
Balotelli.
if you look at the Italian newspapers, there's been a cry for Immobile to start. But really, Balotelli is the type of striker they need. A hold-up striker, especially with the type of tactics Italy will employ.
Yeah.
Get the ball wide to the wingers, it's through the middle, and Balotelli is the type of player they need.
Of course. Again, the Italians are strong defensively. Like always, they have Chiellini, they have Bonucci, and they have Barzagli.
I mean, if
Strong
you look at the
defensively.
friendlies,
they're gonna run
they've
the
been
four
sloppy
back.
They played sloppy against
in
Ireland.
the friendlies.
Sloppy.
Yeah,
They-
they conceded 3 goals in the last match, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. We'll come back to you with the next group, and we'll see.
Well, welcome back. Now it's time to discuss Group E. We have some World Cup hopefuls in this group. We have the likes of Honduras, France, Ecuador, and Switzerland. All very strong teams, but in your opinion, how will they fare?
I believe France will finish first, Switzerland second, Ecuador third, and Honduras fourth. Because you see, France, though they've lost a couple players leading up to the World Cup.
I mean, you look at Franck Ribéry.
Frank Ribery, that's a very huge blow for the French. But I believe Griezmann can come and fill the shoes. He scored 2 goals in the last friendly against Jamaica.
They also have the strikers.
And then they have Benzema and Giroud, who plays very well for his nation.
Yeah.
And then when you look at Switzerland, you see the likes of Shaqiri, Gökhan Inler, Ricardo Rodriguez, who was linked with Chelsea back in January,
Yes.
had a very fantastic
they're
season.
They're still looking to buy him, and also they have Xhaka in the holding defensive mid
Exactly.
position. Away from Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Mönchengladbach. It's a very, very, I would say, mediocre squad. They can fare out, but again, we look at Ecuador. I like Ecuador a lot. They're a very good team. They play the South American type of play. All their players are good attackers. They have Caicedo coming from Russia. They also have Valencia coming from the outside wing position, playing for Manchester United. It's a strong squad. They finished, I think, third in the Canovo qualifying for South America. They came to Portugal. There's one match that they played. They came to Portugal in one of their friendlies and they beat them 1-0. So again, they're a good team. They know how to play under pressure. And then they're another one of the teams that are playing in their home continent, so they'll have their support. And I believe that they'll do well. And personally, I think that they'll finish second. I disagree with Rex on that one.
I mean, but when you look at this group, this is more of with the regards to France. You know, they have a lot of good individuals, but with the other 3 teams, it's more of the sum of the whole is worth more than the individual parts.
Yes.
I don't think that Ecuador can do it, because you just look at the other teams and then you see, disregarding Honduras, you look at Switzerland and you look at France and then you see all the players that they have playing in top divisions in Europe and the better teams. You look at Ecuador, you only have 2-3 players that are playing in Europe.
It's not about that. It's about how the team plays in the whole. The team plays the player. It's not about where the players are.
It's about how the team plays.
So for this team, they have a fantastic attack. I don't think you've noticed that.
But no, I see. I'm not saying that Ecuador is a bad team. I'm just saying that
the Swiss,
quality
first
they
of all,
have
the
is not
Swiss.
better than the Swiss. The Swiss is a good team too. They've done good leading up into the qualifiers.
Yeah, they finished first in their qualifiers.
Exactly.
Yes, but again, their group was just piss poor. It was an easy group. They flew right through it. Again, their team is good, but I believe that Ecuador is better attacking wise. The Swiss, I wouldn't say they're a more defensive team, but they don't have.
All right. So what do you have the group from first to fourth then?
First you have France. Second you have the Ecuadorians. Third you have the Swiss, and last you have Honduras. And let's talk about Honduras here.
What do you agree with? Do you agree with me or Samson?
I mean, you look at Samson, he's got some valid points. I have to agree with his. But really, it's all going to come down to June 20th, Switzerland versus France. That's going to be the decider between second and third. Because if you look at the points total, that's what matters. If Switzerland loses the match, it's definitely going to be Ecuador to win second place and qualify.
But the true match would be when Ecuador plays the Swiss.
That's the first match.
Which is the first match. That'll be a decider. Every match is a decisive match. And I think that'll be the biggest one.
And then we'll move on to Group F, where we have the likes of Argentina, Bosnia, Iran, and Nigeria. In my personal opinion, I have Argentina finishing first, Nigeria second, Bosnia third, and Iran fourth.
Yes.
I feel though Nigeria lost to the U.S., they still have the qualities to beat Bosnia because you have the likes of Ahmed Musa and CSKA Moscow, who had a wonderful season.
Yeah, terrific season, actually.
You have Moses, who didn't really appear much for Liverpool, but he got a few goals, and he's one of Nigeria's best players with.
And that's the thing. When he comes out and plays for Nigeria, he plays fantastic.
He's a different beast when he comes out for Nigeria.
And then you also have Mikel, who's
Mikel.
another type of player who doesn't play as well for his country. He plays even a different role for Chelsea over in England, which is a fantastic side. But he doesn't play much for them, and when he does, he plays a more defensive role. But when he comes out and plays for Nigeria, he expresses himself more creative, plays the attacking role right behind the striker. And I believe that he'll be one of the bigger key players for Nigeria.
And me being from Nigeria, I have to go with Nigeria also because they have Mikel.
Again, me and Rex, big supporters of Nigeria. We believe that.
I also believe that they're better than Ghana, with Nicky K being from Ghana.
I mean, but at the end of the day, Argentina, how would they do? I mean, they're favorites for the World Cup. The likes of Messi, Di Maria, Aguero, how would they fare?
Well, Argentina is a good team. However, Messi, it's shocking how people say Messi didn't have a good season. However, if you look at the stats and then if you put those stats on any other player, you can say that player is world class. But for Messi, he can do a lot better, which is good to see because you want to see if he's gonna come into the World Cup and play as he played with Barcelona this past season, or you want to see him. What everyone wants to see him play is the player that everyone says he is, which is the best player in the world,
and also
better than Cristiano Ronaldo. And one of the best players that will ever go down in history.
Yeah. And also, people like to criticize Messi for the way he plays for his club and compare him to his country. He doesn't play as well. But recently, he's been playing fantastically. Exactly, he's been playing fantastically for his country. He's been coming out every time.
Even
a
scored in the
bit
last
of
game.
Nerves. People talking about him vomiting, but he's been playing fantastic for Argentina. Been putting in goals and basically taking the leadership role in the attacking position.
And let's talk about Bosnia, who've been undefeated in their friendlies leading up to the World Cup.
Bosnia again, they're a fantastic side. They have strong players like Pjanic, Zeko, who plays over in Man City.
And Begovic for Stoke, who's a world-class
goalkeeper. I mean, he's been linked with some of the top tier clubs in
Real Madrid, Barcelona.
They're a good side.
How would they fare against Nigeria?
Again, that's a big match. That's the decisive match.
Yeah, match day 2. That's when the group's decided, really.
On Saturday, June the 21st.
I believe Messi and Co winning the group. And then those two are another toss-up. But touching on Messi, we have to focus on a bit of his footballing nemesis, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Portugal in Group G, the group of death, the likes of Germany, Ghana, USA. How does Cristiano Ronaldo do with Portugal?
Honestly, for Portugal, I do not see them getting out that group, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ronaldo will play well, but if he does what he did in the last World Cup,
I have to disagree. Ronaldo has had one of the best seasons of his whole entire career.
I mean, he wrapped it up with the Ballon d'Or.
He won the Ballon d'Or. His team won the Champions League.
Let's not talk about Ronaldo. Let's talk about Portugal as a whole. Again, when Ronaldo comes out and play, he can make a difference. But Portugal as a whole, I do not believe that they'll get out of the group.
If you look back into the Euro 2012, he literally put his team on his back and carried them through the tournament. And
he played well then. But again, you have teams like Brazilian teams.
If you just check in the past few days, he played a quality match in his last friendly leading up to the World Cup, and I believe that he'll take that form into the World Cup. Okay. Even though there's all this speculation about him being injured and all that, that's only going to drive him more and give him motivation to play and take his team into the final.
But again, you have teams
like Ghana, correct?
Another team like Ghana
is a fantastic team.
Let me touch on Ghana a bit. My home country. With pride, I say that. Second place in this group, guaranteed. Look at their first match. They play USA. A bit of I think they'll sweep the USA without Landon Donovan, a chief attacking player. 3-0 even, just like they've done the last two fixtures.
I agree. Ghana will shock the US and beat them 3-0.
But really, again, this group, it's not about.
Let's go back to this Ghana versus US
This group, it's not about Ghana. It's not about Portugal. It's about the two of them. Match day 3, kickoff 5 p.m. Who wins it? That's going to be the second place decider. Because I have the USA finishing last in this group.
You guys are writing off the Americans, even though they play very well.
I can easily write off the Americans because they just don't have a player that can take them
to that next level.
They say that they have Julian Green. Julian Green, he doesn't have the quality.
I mean, if you look at the US and you look at the US and you look at their squad, you look at the world-class talents they have. And barring Michael Bradley, I don't think there's anyone that's even in the top 5, 10 in their position in world football, apart from Michael Bradley. So you have to look at the lack of
So
quality.
you're saying that Dempsey isn't gonna show out in
Dempsey
this
will.
World
I mean,
He's-
Dempsey's
he's
an
a- he's a-
American
he-
great, but
he-
if you look at world football, he couldn't cut it at Tottenham, and now he's back in the MLS with Seattle Sounders. There's a reason for that. That's why I have to write off the
To
U.S.
be honest, you guys are writing them off a bit too easily. Collectively, as a team, they've done well in their friendlies. Maybe a few mistakes here and there, but again, they're undefeated in their friendlies. They're going to bring their form into this group, and they're also going to bring their motivation for bringing an African team that was supposed to prepare them for the likes of Ghana,
Yeah.
Alright,
in which they beat 2-1.
All right, let's touch on
with
Germany real
ease.
quick.
I would say also.
Them losing Marco Royce, do you think that
No,
that'll say anything?
Of
They
course,
have-
I
they
mean,
have
they have the likes of Andre Schürrle, Mesut
Yeah.
Ozil,
Again,
Mario
we're not
Götze.
even talking about them.
I mean, if you
because
look
we
at
know that
Germany-
they're going to finish first, no questions.
If you
They're
look at
there for a
Germany, they
fantastic
have the
side.
premier squad in the World Cup, better than Brazil, better than Spain, and you have to look at them as favorites. I mean, in my
They're
bracket,
favorites to
I
even
picked
win
them
this,
as.
to win this,
I've-
win this whole cup. No question.
Remember this, I picked Germany as a World Cup winner this year, 2014.
Number one.
Just wait on it.
All right, let's move on to
Well,
the next group.
The last group before we touch on the opening day and the ceremonies, Group H. Every group is difficult. This one, once again, we don't have a team that stands out at a next level, but we all have them in that mid-range. We have Belgium, Algeria, Russia, and South Korea.
Belgium, they're actually a team that I feel like can surprise the world in this tournament.
I mean, if you look at Belgium, Colombia, I would have to write them as my 2 dark horses for this World Cup.
I agree.
I wouldn't even call Belgium a dark horse. Everybody knows about this team. That look, but
All right,
it's
well,
your decision.
Belgium coming in with Eden Hazard, Company, and Lukaku, them losing Benteke, I feel that they'll be first in the group with Russia coming in second. Well, but that's all that we can say for today. We'll have to let the future decide the truth because all this is just discussion. And this has been Football Talk with Nikki and Samson and me, Rizola.
We'll see you guys later.
And we'll see you guys up
All
later.
right.
Tune in next week at the same time for a bit more of this caliber show.
All right then.